Hello, Internet. I'm Matt.
And I'm Monster Punter.
And this is the Parallax Scrolling Podcast, where we give you our perspective on video games and the news that affects them. And before we go into anything else, I gotta talk about this.
What's that?
Dear games journalists, please fact check yourselves before you do something stupid.
What are you talking about?
I am talking about Sonic Frontiers.
What about it?
Okay, so spoiler, non-spoiler alert. Ready?
Okay.
There are plenty of articles out there about a secret ending to Sonic Frontiers. And the basic premise is that you must play on hard. You must fight the final boss on hard to get to the secret ending. I beat the game last night. I played on normal. I got all the endings. I played on hard. I got the exact same amount of endings. It doesn't change anything.
That's why it's a secret ending.
Yeah, the secret is there is no secret. and I'll say this so it's without revealing story or anything like that. The only thing that changes, there's an extra boss fight, and the final ending credits song is different.
Okay.
That's it. All the movie scenes, all the yeah, it's all the same.
What? Okay. Well, now that you're done with the game, what?
I'm not done.
Oh,
I have yet to complete it. I have to go collect all the tokens off the islands because I want to.
oh, well, fine. But
Yeah,
what would you rate the game?
A 9.5.
9.5.
9.5. Yeah, I mean, it does have some hang-ups. It's obviously, like last week, there's no such thing as a perfect game. And it's got its own hang-ups and, issues. That aside, I love this game. And it's such a great game. Like, I've already talked about how I do have to get my own copy. I do want to get my own copy because I want to continue with the storyboard that we talked about before. I want to go through that, but I just want to have the game. I just want it.
You like it that much?
Yes. And it's major issue for me. Actually, this is the major issue for me. Ready? Because you've been through the first island enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Elder Coco.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I actually didn't make it that far, but go ahead.
Well, if you've been through the first island, you know who he is.
Maybe.
He's the moss-covered giant rock face.
Oh, okay.
That guy. Two things. One, he is the worst leveling system in the game.
Okay.
Because when you find enough Cocos to take to him, he'll let you level up either your speed or your ring capacity. But he'll only let you do them one at a time. Like one level at a time. And you have to keep selecting through the menus every freaking time. There's 99 levels.
Oh, fun.
So that's quite a burden on people. Especially when the other Coco you get to level up your attack and defense off of, you're just like, here's the thing. And he goes, here's your levels. Have a great day. That's it. So I don't know whoever designed the one Coco didn't design the other one. And number two, he is quite literally the worst babysitter in existence. This Elder Coco is responsible for all the little baby Cocos on all the islands that you're trying to find. He's the worst babysitter. There's actually an area in the second island. There's like 7 baby Cocos right behind him. And he's like, oh, I can't find them. Please help me get them. Move 2 feet, you stupid. He's the worst babysitter. Absolutely terrible.
All right.
But yeah, no, overall, the game is fantastic. The one thing I had to learn was parrying.
Really?
Yeah, because, well, you know me. I'm a FromSoft boy, so I know how to parry, right? I've had decades at this point now of learning to parry. Sonic does not parry like FromSoft parries. Because you have to hold the button down. And if you hold the button down, he'll stay in that stance for about 5-6 seconds. And that's how you block most attacks. And with some of the fights, like some of the Guardians and whatnot, you really need to know how to parry. And so it's just like, oh, once I learned that, the game kind of got a heck of a lot easier.
I see.
So, yeah. But I definitely enjoyed my time with it. I'm still not done with it. I'm still going to keep going back to it. And I just had to get that off my chest that there is no secret ending. people are lazy. Unless there was an update before those articles, after those articles came out. But I doubt it.
Okay. Well, I played... I have Game Pass on PC as well.
Yeah.
So I ended up playing Warhammer 40k, the new game that came out.
Yeah.
I've heard it's basically Warhammer Left 4 Dead.
Right. Warhammer 40k Left 4 Dead, because there's Vermintide, which is Warhammer Left 4 Dead.
Okay, fine. It's Warhammer 40k Left 4 Dead.
Right.
That's literally what it is. I had some fun with it, though.
Good.
My character, the creative character, is kind of in depth. I selected my guy, I started making him, I was looking through the hairstyles. I was like, oh really? It lets you select this hairstyle.
I got a fro 10 feet long.
So, long story short is, I made Hayachi from Tekken. And he's the priest class. I can't remember what they call it in there. But he's all about that. Apparently that class, from what I understand so far, is all about melee. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, I kind of like just backed into the perfect class for this guy. All right. So Hayachi uses no guns. He is all...
Of course not. He's a man's man.
So he will be fighting with melee only. So that was fun. Awesome. I also been I'm about to start the next chapter of Trials of Cold Steel.
7 or
chapter 7.
Okay.
So I think I'm getting pretty close to the end.
Cool.
But the big I don't know the big bad guy's name yet, but he's made several appearances.
Douchebag McDouchenstein.
Or Douchebag McGee.
And that's too simple. Gotta be fancier. It's gotta be fancier. Before I forget, and I did want to say this, like I said, I was talking about Sonic Frontiers, going back about the final bosses and whatnot. And playing on hard mode gives you an extra boss fight. If you call yourself a Sega fan, not just a Sonic fan, but a Sega fan,
all right, you're
going to want to do the final boss fight on hard.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
And I'll even help you out with this one step, because you already know you're going around collecting the emeralds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're done in color-coded order. On the final island, before you get the white crystal, the white gem.
Chaos Emerald?
Yeah. Save your game.
Okay.
Then, if you feel like it, you can play the normal mode, easy mode, hard mode. It don't matter at that point. Because that's the only thing that matters, is do you go into that fight, do you collect that gem before, what's your difficulty before you collect that gem? That's it.
Okay. So, let me ask you this. Does it turn into supersonic?
Do you want me to spoil it for you?
Never mind then. Fine. That's fine.
I'm not going to spoil anything for you.
No,
that's why I was like, I was just trying to give you non-spoilery spoilers.
Okay.
And the non-spoilery spoiler is that game journalists who don't do their full research need to stay off the internet. That's
okay. So this is not.
I say that after reading multiple articles on this podcast. I've only glanced at my articles, but
so I know this is not gaming related, but you have to watch it. The Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
Oh yeah,
is amazing.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet.
It is awesome. I laughed so hard.
I usually don't get into my full-blown holiday special watching till like the week before Christmas, because then I go into it, you know. But yeah,
put this on your list. You will not regret watching it.
Okay,
it is that good.
Cool. Speaking of things regret watching or not watching, this episode is primarily about the Game Awards. I'm gonna get some hate for that. You watch. Most of our stories today are about the Game Awards, because that's pretty much all people are talking about.
Well, there's a lot of games announced at the Game Awards, too.
Yeah, well, yeah, and so there's some good that came of it, but do we want to save the good for last, or do we want to...
Well,
do we want to do this as good news, bad news, or do we do bad news, good news, or do we want to mix it up?
Let's just throw some bad news out there.
Okay, bad news. You Genshin Impactors, whatever. Genshin Impact won the Player's Voice Award. As we talked about last week, there were botters who helped spike the votes in Genshin Impact's favor. But I do have to make an addendum to that. I was talking with someone else after we had recorded, and they informed me that there were also Genshin haters who made bots to vote for Sonic. So the botters practically ruined the Player's Voice Award.
I see.
Yeah, just good job, guys. Just good job.
The few ruin it for the many.
Yep. So, but speaking of winners, let me grab my... I have my list right here. So, you didn't watch the Game Awards either, did you?
I watched some of the Game Awards before.
Not all of it.
Well, I had a previous engagement I had to be to, but I did watch some of the Game Awards.
So, who do you think won Game of the Year?
Well, I would imagine that, it was Sonic Frontiers, obviously.
It should have been. No, yeah.
Oh, hold on a second. It was My Little Pony Ride Along. I don't even know if that's a real game or not, but I'm guessing that's good.
My Little Pony Ride Along sounds like they're sitting in the back of the cop car. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, God. What? How do you get a cop car from
Because that's what a ride along is. You ride along with the police officers. Have you never done one?
Well, there's other ride-alongs.
No, My Little Pony Ride Along sounds like...
I imagine like the little girl gets on the My Little Pony and rides... Where's your brain? Your brain is somewhere else, man. Anyhow. Hold on. Jeez. So... Gosh. My goodness, man. Obviously, it was the Ring of Eldens.
Yes, it was Elden Ring. Way to steer the ship back on course there. Game of the Year was Elden Ring. Best Game Direction, Elden Ring. Best Narrative was God of War Ragnarok. And God of War Ragnarok took a ton of awards. Like, so did Elden Ring, but I think God of War took more. But the ones I thought that were really cool were Best Ongoing Game, Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
Best Indie Game and Best Debut Indie Game were Stray, but also Best Community Support was Final Fantasy Online 14.
Yeah.
That's just fantastic stuff. So, congratulations to all the winners, except for those of you who botted and ruined Player's Voice. Good job.
I mean, if I could do MMOs again, Final Fantasy XIV would be the one I'd play.
Oh, absolutely.
But I
will say this. I've seen a trailer for Blue Protocol, which was actually shown at the Game Awards. That looks fun. It looks like... Yeah. It actually looks like Tales.
Yeah, it kind of does.
And it is. It's Bandai Namco.
Okay. That's all well and good. But my problem is that I just can't bring myself to play MMOs, at least not right now.
I can't bring myself to play an MMO seriously, like legitimate. Like, I'll play, but it'll be like, yeah, I'm going to play this game like maybe an hour or two this week. But yeah, the one thing with MMOs is it's so easy to get lost in the flow of gameplay. Because your friends can outlevel you by a wide margin, and then they're busy running dungeons, and you're still stuck behind. And
it can really take over your life. You have to be very careful with them. And for me, we're doing this podcast now. Like, I can't do it. I work too much at my regular job to play an MMO and still play other games and be able to talk coherently about them.
Right.
But, it is what it is.
By the way, did you, to kind of get back on track a little bit, best fighting game was Multiverses.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That one I didn't know.
Yeah. How do you feel about that one, Mr. Fighting Game Guy?
Well, obviously I would have picked Final Fantasy, or Final Fantasy. I would have picked King of Fighters 15. I'm thinking Final Fantasy 15, 14 we just talked about.
I think the greatest fighting game of all time is My Little Pony Ride Along.
Oh God, the game that doesn't exist. We're
making a shirt out of that. We're making a shirt out of that. My Little Pony Ride Along.
Hold on a second. Does this game really exist?
Oh gosh, he's hitting the internet, folks. We're gonna be here forever.
Oh, My Little Pony Play Along.
Yeah, but that's not Ride Along. That's a totally different thing.
There's a ride-on toy.
Again, not a ride along.
Friendship is magic. Okay,
yeah,
so this game doesn't exist.
Yet.
But
you know what to do, game developers.
But, so, speaking of...
My Little Pony Friendship is a criminal offense.
Jeez.
Anyhow, last one I wanted to end up with that I found interesting was most anticipated game was Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
That's not surprising.
It's not surprising, but
whatsoever.
A lot of those were kind of obvious, but
Yeah. I mean,
anyhow, that's pretty much the bad of the Game Awards, aside from one individual prankster.
Yeah.
And his reformed rabbi, Bill Clinton.
What was he even trying to accomplish? That doesn't make any sense.
He's a troll.
Yeah, he was a troll. He's going to be trolling behind bars at this point.
He's only 15.
Really?
Yep. The funny thing was, Jeff Keighley had tweeted out that he was like, just so you know, the person at the end of the Game Awards has been arrested.
Yeah.
And then somebody actually reached out, somebody at Kotaku reached out to the LAPD, and the LAPD confirmed no one was arrested.
Well, okay, when it comes to minors, they get many more protections than
True,
normal.
But I also feel like what I feel like it is. I was talking with somebody yesterday about this. Was by arrested, he was detained by security for like 15 minutes.
But just because he's a minor doesn't mean their charges can't be brought up against him.
Oh,
he
yeah.
may still serve some sort of prison time.
Well, and I think his parents are also responsible at some point. Like, they have to take some of the burden, too. But the one thing that kind of, like, really drew me away from, or drew my attention, was the utter failure of the security at that event. Because you can watch the video. The security team is kind of hovering around the Elden Ring team as they're coming up onto the stage. And he literally walks in from another lane with them up to the group, and no one stops him. Yeah. Nobody stops him. Yeah. So and he sat up there the entire time while everyone else was giving their thank you speeches, and security never came and got him. Never once.
Well, apparently we know more about.
So expect Game Awards 2023 to be under lockdown.
Well, maybe our reformed rabbi Bill Clinton will do something about that.
Yeah. The sad thing is that kid's actually getting internet clout for doing this.
Of course he is.
And it's like, when are people going to understand just because you can do something like this is not going to make you famous? It's just going to show the world how stupid you are.
I mean, he's getting some recognition in some places he probably wants it. So,
and that's just a terrible thing.
It is.
But that's it for the rough stuff of the Game Awards. Let's talk about the great things we're excited about from the Game Awards.
Well,
mainly the games.
Yes. That's what it should always be about, right?
Exactly.
So, let's talk about the one that surprised me the most.
The most.
Okay. At the Game Awards. And that was the announcement of
My Little Pony Ride Along.
That, you know what? It was announced, wasn't it?
I'm not going to let that one go.
Of course it wasn't. The Armored Core series is going to have another entry in it.
Yes!
Armored Core 6.
Armored Core 6.
Rubicon.
Oh. I am an Armored Core fanboy. I have always been an Armored Core fanboy. The fact that there's another Armored Core coming has me incredibly excited. This is my most anticipated game.
Is it really?
Right now, yes.
So I've gone back and forth with the Armored Core series. when they were announced, they were coming out on the original PlayStation. They were good. I thought
one and two were.
I thought the transition to PlayStation 2, they weren't as good. And then it kind of fell off for me. I don't know what else to say other than that.
I will say that the game started getting kind of lackluster, but it's not the point for me. The point is every time an Armored Core game gets announced, I've always been excited about it and I've always gotten into it. Yeah, then I get disappointed on some of them afterwards, but I'm still excited. And I'm always going to be excited. This is the fact that there's just a mech game that lets you build your mech, your dream mech. Yes, awesome. That's why Biomotor Unitron is on my favorite games. Or on my favorite RPGs list. Because you get to build your mech.
Okay, I guess I could see it.
Right?
You know what? I would love to see the Battletech series do something closer to what Armored Core does. Just once or twice for grins.
If they could pull it off. Honestly, what I would love to see, now that I say it and I think it, like, oh yeah, I would love to see a crossover, because a lot of games are getting crossover events.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of games that don't make sense are getting crossover events. But what I would love to see is Armored Core Zone of the Enders have a crossover.
Okay, so Armored Core is made by FromSoft, right?
Yeah.
But who publishes that? Was it Namco back in the day?
No, I believe it's always been From.
Well, From Software gets a... they usually have someone who helps them, release the game.
Oh, no, sure.
It says right here that they're the publisher right now. We'll see if that...
Well, because they are, because Elden Ring has made them so much money.
But I don't think that Armored Core is going to garner quite the attention that...
No, I'm saying, but it gives them the ability to put the game out themselves.
I guess so. But, looking forward to it.
Definitely looking forward to it.
Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, when I first heard about this, like, the way I heard about it wasn't from the Game Awards, it was from just a random tweet from FromSoft, and I was like, oh, no, really? For me?
So I think it's gotten a lot of positive press right now.
I do too.
But you want to know one that doesn't get a lot of positive press at this particular point in time?
Which one?
That's the new Bayonetta game.
Oh, yeah, Cereza and the Lost Demon.
Yeah, and I can't really blame anybody for, ripping on it, because it doesn't feel like a Bayonetta game. At least at this particular point in time.
But here's the thing, I don't think it's not supposed to be a Bayonetta game. It is Bayonetta as Cereza. So you get her origin story. Why is this, people should be excited about this.
But it's a completely different gameplay style.
So?
I mean, it could be cool, but...
Yeah, I mean, just because something's different doesn't make it bad.
I'm not saying it is going to be bad.
I know, but you're just saying you're worried about it. I'm like, don't be worried about it. We need more info. We need more gameplay trailers. We need more story. We need a lot more information on this one before I'm willing to put down a stamp of approval or disapproval on it.
I'm not saying I approve or disapprove. I just approach it with a lot of suspicion right now, because based on the previous Bayonetta games and whatnot, I just don't see it in the big picture right now. They're going to have to convince me quite a bit before I give it any sort of stamp of approval.
Well, the biggest one I saw, and I immediately got hyped for, and I immediately wishlisted it when it showed up in my queue the moment after it got announced. Because I wish this stuff's on Steam so that I know when it comes out. Whether I get it on Steam or not is irrelevant. I just want to know when it comes out. Hades 2! Hades 2. Hades is such a great game. Such a fantastic art style. Such a moving story. Such a just beautiful soundtrack. And the gameplay is so wonderful. It's an amazing game. That if that had come out this year, that would have been, I think, the indie surprise hit of the year. But we're getting a sequel. And it looks cool. And it looks like it does more with So the basic concept behind it is it ties the Greek mythology to the origin of witchcraft. So you're playing as a witch. So it looks like, from what you can see in the trailer, it looks like most of the gameplay is about spells. And they look pretty cool. They look like really cool attacks. So I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Apparently it'll be on early access on Steam and on Epic Game Store.
Right.
I don't think there'll be anything early access for the consoles, but I would imagine with the success of the previous Hades game on every platform that they would put it on everything. So we'll see what happens. What will be a slam dunk as far as a good game is concerned is Street Fighter 6, in my opinion.
Except for that cover. That is like one of the hotly contested issues right now that I've been seeing. People are upset that that new character is the face of the cover for Street Fighter 6. People are actually upset about it.
People always try to find something to be upset about.
You're right, but at the same time, it does look dumb.
Okay, fine,
it looks as dumb as the logo.
Fine, the cover doesn't look very good, but it could still be a really good game.
Right.
I think what also will end up being a good game is Final Fantasy 16.
Yes. The fact that they finally announced that it's coming out in June was like, it's right around the corner. It's awesome. It's awesome.
The trailer was very good.
It's all about getting hype now.
Yeah, and it looks like Square Enix has transitioned away from the traditional turn-based RPG entirely.
Yes, but they've even said that they've had to. Because it's like, that's the way the market trend is going. Less people are interested in the turn-based style RPG, so they're trying to appeal to everyone.
I would argue that may be misplaced, and here's the reason.
Possibly.
If you look at a lot of your mobile games, vast majority of them are turn-based, at least as far as I can tell.
Right, but you're not going to see Final Fantasy 16 on a mobile anytime soon.
Okay, that's fair point.
Right. And so they're focusing on their console and PC players, and most of those people are not going to your standard turn-based anymore.
Well, as far
I
as
am.
I still play a turn.
Yeah.
I'm playing a turn-based game as we speak.
I just come off of a turn-based game, and yeah. No, I agree. I would like to see another turn-based Final Fantasy, but at the same time, this one looks really good. And I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for it too. And being able to play as Ifrit sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah, it does look like you can play as Ifrit, and that's pretty awesome. You know what's also awesome?
What's that?
The next mashup coming to Dead Cells.
Yeah, I figured you'd be really excited about the Castlevania one there.
Return to Castlevania. If you actually haven't watched the trailer, it's an enjoyable thing. Like, he shows up, the prisoner shows up out of a portal somewhere, and he's in some woods, and he just sees a bunch of dismembered, like, undead creatures, and there's, like, a zombie man. He's like, he's, like, trying to reach for him. So he runs up, he grabs him by the shoulders, and the zombie begins telling him, we got beat up by these guys. And so every time he comes, like, there's, like, at one point he gets into the castle, and he's, like, trying to find what's going on, and there's a skeleton corpse who just goes, it points upstairs, and so he's like, thank you, and he runs upstairs, and there he finds Alucard and Richter Belmont just beating the crap out of everything. And so then he's like, oh, you must be the bad guys, I'm gonna fight you. Ends up getting his butt kicked, but he ends up getting sent through a wall, which propels him into Dracula's throne room, to which he finds Dracula. And then he's like, oh, we're fighting you! And so then he shows up and teams up with the other two. But yeah, so the whole point is, from what it looks like, from what it sounds like, you're going to be going into Castlevania with the Dead Cells characters. You're going to be able to play as Richter and Alucard, and you're going to fight Dracula. That's really exciting, and it's so sad that somebody other than Konami is giving Castlevania the love it deserves.
Good old Konami. They've let their... Oh my gosh. Unless you love pachinko machines, they've taken all of their franchises and just flushed them down the toilet.
Well, they're still making games, but they're definitely not the titans they should be.
No, there was a point in the 90s where you saw the Konami logo and
you knew you had a good game.
Yeah.
You knew it.
Yeah, I still remember it. You know, how it comes from top to bottom and goes back up, and then it kind of...
What would you say, in your opinion, is the last great Konami game?
Honestly, probably the first of the 3D Castlevanias they made. I thought
Lords of Shadow?
Yeah, Lords of Shadow. I thought that was a quality game.
I do too.
Thought that was a quality game.
But I'm not sure. I can't remember which one came out first. But I would also say, like, Hardcore Uprising.
Okay. Hardcore Uprising is a good game.
Right?
That is a good game.
Right?
But okay.
But I'm saying, but what was the last one? I think you're right. I think it was...
But you know who made Hardcore Uprising? It wasn't Konami. It was Arc System Works.
Oh, that would explain it. Oh, that's right, because you just use the Konami code.
And it has the music when you start the game.
Yeah.
Well, it has technically the
It has the Contra theme.
Contra theme, yes.
But you could also use the Konami code in it, and there's also something like, if you use the Konami code, you got 537 credits, because that stands for Konami. So, yeah.
Yeah, that game, Hardcore Uprising, is a great game. If you guys haven't played it,
Find a way.
Yes, it's stuck on PS3 and Xbox 360, but because Microsoft is good guy Microsoft right now, if you buy it on their console, you can access it today. By all means, play that game.
Absolutely.
It is great. Even to this day. I was playing it the other day, believe it or not.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
And of course, there's just a ton of other games that had come out, a ton of other ones that got released. Some I want to be excited about, some I'm not fully sold on yet, but I know like Lords of the Fallen is coming out. That's supposed to be amazing. Forspoken's coming out. That's supposed to be great. Which the demo came out. I should be playing that.
Yeah, Forspoken, I haven't been able to play the demo for.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I know you don't care about Star Wars, but I actually played Fallen Order and really enjoyed it, so I'm kind of looking forward to that one.
Death Stranding 2 falls squarely in the meh category for
right.
me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to play your walking simulator, go for it. Diablo 4 could be cool.
But will not see a dime from me. Not until things change. We'll get that in a second.
I remember seeing the trailer for Fire Emblem Engage, but I can't remember what it is about.
Oh yeah, Fire Emblem, that's the one where like, oh, we meet the digital versions of our heroes from the other Fire Emblem. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it.
The Doom game sits squarely in the meh category for me.
Actually, I think the Doom game is supposed to be pretty cool. Valiant Hearts, if you did not play the original Valiant Hearts, that hurt on so many levels, but in a good way. Like, it is a tearjerker of a story. So for Valiant Hearts 2, yeah, I'm going to be interested.
Okay.
Vampire Survivors, I already have it, already beat it. Looking forward to the DLC they announced. Yeah, just awesome stuff. And then Wild Hearts is supposed to be amazing too.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of gig. Oh, and of course, how did I forget this one? Tekken 8.
Tekken 8 looks
good. So, because we're looking at the list here. Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. Is the last game to have the great voice, Kevin Conroy, as Batman.
For all you people who grew up watching Batman in the 90s, you know, how much longer do you think what's his face has?
Mark Hamill?
He's not playing the Joker really anymore, but
off and on.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, but here's the thing, like, a side tangent here. Kevin Conroy was only in his 60s.
Yeah.
He could have kept going. It's just that he had cancer, and that's just, it's a shame.
Yeah. So that's
we lose the good ones way,
Yeah, we lose them way too soon.
Yeah.
So that's kind of everything I cared to talk about at the Game Awards, other than Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, I've heard some great things about it. I've heard some messed up things about it. We'll see how it comes out.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. But there's a ton of more games like Blue Protocol we talked about a little bit. Remnant 2. I mean, yeah. Which Remnant 2, we'll see. Because, Anyways, that's pretty much going to wrap up the Game Awards. It's not going to wrap up our episode, though. I got one more story. And I don't want to go.
Well, before we go on to that...
Okay, you're going to make me sit on this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us what you liked about the Game Awards down below. What games are you looking forward to? What do you think we got wrong? Let us know.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, since my brain is being sparked at these random moments, because that's how my brain works, another quick addendum.
What's that?
Kellen Quinn, the singer for the songs in Sonic Frontier, yeah. She's from the band Sleeping with Sirens.
Okay.
Sleeping with Sirens is actually involved in a couple of songs on the track already. Also. So, the soundtrack, just invest yourself in it. Like, personally, I blocked out, I went on blackout mode. If there was a song I had not heard yet in the game, I didn't listen to it as I played through the game. And then afterwards, I was like, I'm going to listen to this song a lot. So, anyways.
On to the story that you don't want to talk about.
Yeah. We're ending on a great note here.
No, we got one other thing.
Oh, you got one other thing? Good. Good. Because I'm so tired of talking about this. In the great epic saga that is the Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition mess, the FTC has filed a antitrust lawsuit against Microsoft.
That could be the death knell.
Could be, but a lot of people are also speculating that the purchase will go through anyways.
Well,
so we'll see what happens, but it's messed up, and like now they're getting involved. They could have gotten involved way sooner, and it definitely feels just from the way it sounds and from the way it looks, it feels to me like Sony has the FTC in their back pocket right now, and I don't like that.
Well, it's possible, but...
And the only thing I can say is if you watch this and the FTC denies them the purchase of Activision Blizzard, but then somehow Sony comes around and buys it, chaos. Mass chaos is going to come out of that.
All I'm going to say is simply this. If Microsoft gets blocked somehow,
yeah, they
are going to go on a buying spree like nobody has ever seen before.
Oh, yeah, they're going to buy up just about everybody they can at that point.
They're going to buy... I see them buying up a lot of small studios and or
EA.
Buying specific properties from EA and maybe...
Or Activision.
Yeah. Or Activision. And, well, maybe EA too at that point.
Yeah, true.
And...
we now own Battlefield and Call of Duty. We have the next game called Battle of Duty.
All your base are belong to us.
And Caulfield. We have...
Oh, God.
Or no, better yet, Duty Field. Just call it Duty Field. There we go.
Somebody stop this, man.
Oh, I'm a genius. I'm a genius.
Maybe Sega should just come out with all your base are belong to us.
Yeah. But
if you don't know that meme, take a look. It's a real thing.
Yeah,
translating in the 90s was hard.
Yes. But yeah, so this is just... It's a mess of a situation. I don't feel like delving deeper into it, but I do want to get that information out to you guys. This acquisition has gone on long enough, or the attempt to acquire has gone on too long, and Jim crying in his sleep because he can't get what he wants. That's his full name now.
Hey, don't lump me in with him.
I said Jim crying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
I didn't say monster being a dumb doo-doo head.
But then again...
Although, you know...
Speaking of PlayStation and the PS5, there's been a huge supply of PS5s this year compared to prior years, and it's topped the overall hardware sales list for November. Now,
in the U.S.
In the U.S.
Yeah.
Apparently it didn't outsell the Switch, but because the Switch is a cheaper product, Sony has the top dollar sales. But I think this is a good thing. I think as more people adopt the new platforms, we'll see this cross-gen period finally come to an end, and we'll start to see companies actually take advantage of the capabilities that the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5
So you're strongly believing that gone are the days of the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox X?
I think... as we start to see more sales of the current gen consoles, because let's admit it, they've been out for 2 years. They're current gen. They are not next gen anymore. They are current gen.
Right.
You'll start to see the developers drop support for those older ones. In fact, Callisto Protocol is a good example of that.
Yeah.
They use like a homogeneous kind of setup for the most part for the Callisto project as far as settings and things like that. The only differences really were resolution.
Okay.
But there used to be a point where you'd get better resolutions on Xbox Series X compared to PS4 Pro. You'd get better stuff on PS4 compared to Xbox One. And that kind of stuff is starting to go away because they're diverting less resources to prior gen versions. And we're in that part now where the games are starting to be too heavy for the old consoles. This happened with the 360 and PS3 as well. When the PS4 and Xbox One came out and they started having games like Grand Theft Auto 5, it ran much worse on PS3, 360 than the PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
In that general, cross-gen period. So it's going to get even worse as we go forward. Honestly, 2022 is the last year that you'll probably see anything quality come out for those previous gen systems.
Yeah. How much longer do you think those previous gens got?
Well, they're 9 years old already. And I remember at one point, Sony said, hey, we're going to support our systems for 10 years. That means if they stick to that...
Next year's the last year for the PS4.
Last year. But I think Sony's close to moving on. Ratchet and Clank only being on PS5 for starters is something.
Yeah.
I realize that game's over a year old already, but still, my point still stands. Sony's already shown that they will do it, and I think it's going to become more. And I think your PlayStation and Xbox, it's been 2 years. Remember, Microsoft said they would support the Xbox One, full support, full-throated support for 2 years. That's done now.
Yeah.
So, if you have one of those last-gen consoles, save your pennies and do what you can to get a new one. And if you can't get a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S is a good system.
Yeah.
And is worthy of your consideration. And this holiday season, getting it for $250 or even cheaper in some cases blows me away.
Yeah, especially considering that you have not much time left to get your holiday shopping done.
Just saying, the Xbox Series S is still worthy. If you want, if you don't care about physical copies of games whatsoever, it's a great machine. You may not be able to get all the graphic fidelity and everything of the Series X and the PlayStation 5, but you'll get most of it at 1080p for the most part, and you'll be fine.
I will say this. If you're like me and you are a huge fan of indie games, getting an Xbox Series S is a really good investment. So, just as much as getting a Steam account. Like you're going to find some good stuff on there. So,
and if you look up online, they have a developer mode in the Xbox OS where you can have emulators on your Xbox. Your Xbox Series S is actually an awesome emulator machine, Matt. So don't discount it. I think you'll really enjoy it.
I never discounted it in the first place, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, guess I know what I'm going to be trying to do in the next couple weeks.
Yeah. One of the main drivers for people to hack a console is to put all those things on it.
Video game preservation, as we talked before.
Yeah, video game preservation. They put emulators on it. They make homebrew games and things like that. You want to know why you haven't heard about the Xbox Series S, X, and S being hacked? It's because of the developer mode.
They allowed it.
And I think you have to pay a small fee for it, but when you pay for it, you get to do all those things that people would normally hack the system for. So the incentive to actually hack the system is not nearly there in the same way that you'd see the PS5, for instance, which people are trying to hack.
I can see that.
So, at any rate, but you know what people aren't going to hack is our outro.
Well, I think you just kind of did.
Did I?
Kinda. I mean, you hacked it up into little pieces. Because I was going to ask if you had any of the stories. I don't think you do. It's like we said before. This is primarily a Game Awards week, just like last week was primarily a Microsoft week. But yeah, we definitely want to hear from you guys about anything we talked about today.
Yep.
Especially about how amazing Sonic Frontiers is. Please go ahead and here's a fun thing. If you've played Sonic Frontiers, without spoiling anything for anybody, like look up the names if you have to. What's your favorite track on the soundtrack? That's what I want to know. I'll tell you mine. The name of the song is called Breaking Through It All. And it is a awesome song. Honestly, I'll say this too. It's a boss fight song. Mm-hmm. Every boss fight has an amazing song. Every single one. What's yours? I want to know. Along with everything else, obviously. But
I haven't played the game enough, but tell us down below.
Yes, absolutely. Tell us down below. And tell us, what are your thoughts about the Game Awards and how it was ruined by bots. And
hopefully we get one more episode out before the end of the year, and I'd like to talk a little bit about our favorite games that came out.
That might just be a thing we do, is instead of doing like actual news.
Yeah.
We still got, hopefully we still got that other episode to do.
Yeah.
We've got it recorded. We just got to get it out. But hopefully we'll have that out for you guys at the end of the year. But we are going to take time off for the end of the year because we're going to spend time with family, because family's important. And we appreciate you all for everything you guys have done this year. Thank you for all your support. Obviously, it's only been the halfway mark for our actual year of recording, but it is the end of the calendar year, so we are thankful for you guys this year. Thank you so much for everything you've done along the way. Keep it up, please. We want to keep talking to you. We want to, enjoy what you guys have to say, and we hope you like what we say. I mean, because we ramble.
We do.
And we talk about My Little Pony ride-alongs and other fun things. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think
I think that's pretty much all we need to really say today.
Yeah,
so, with that said, have yourselves a fantastic day. Have yourselves a fantastic week. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Take care.
Later.